Okay, a lot of students were asking us this question. The marks, the correlation between marks and percentile. Because unfortunately, though NTA provides individual percentile scores in each of the sections, one simple thing which they can do, add the raw scores also, so that the whole thing is transparent and the student is very clear in terms of what marks have led to what percentile. For some reason, for same strange reason, NTA doesn't do it. So always these students have this question as to what marks lead to what percentile. The numbers are not so important. What's important is what are the lessons to be learned from this correlation. So what we will do is, first we will present the numbers. Unfortunately, there is no, I would say, primary source to get those numbers. We get those numbers only from anecdotal data, talking to students, and from them extracting the data. That is all that we can do. But more importantly, more than the numbers, is what do we learn from these numbers? So we will look at these two things. First, the numbers, that is the correlation between marks and percentile. And second, we will also look at the lessons to be learned. So first, what is it that we've done in terms of this exercise? First, what we did was we collected some data points. For each of the slots, we collected the data points. For example, 24th morning, 99, what was the least percentile, 19, least 99 percentile, for which we've got some authentic data. So 99.0453, we know that it corresponded to something like around 220. So close enough. So 99 percentile would have ended with around 220. 24th evening, 99.0292 ended with corresponded to 204. So we can say that roughly 99 percentile on that 24th evening ended at 204. So which means that this paper, evening paper, was slightly tougher than the morning paper. Now 25th morning, again you see a wide variation. Suddenly there is a drop. 185 corresponded to 99.0423. 25th evening, 197. So 25th evening was slightly easier than the 25th morning paper, 99.010. 26th morning, 218. It was a relatively easy paper, 99.012. And 26th evening was a real shocker, 176 only, 99.011155. So what we've done is we've collected this kind of data points, and using these data points, we came up with these figures. There may be minor variations here and there. I'm not saying that this is 100% accurate, because we've collected it on the basis of the scores that we've got from students and corresponded that with the percentiles that they've got. So may not be 100% accurate, but it will definitely give you an idea. And I would say that the trends are very, very accurate. So what we've done is 99 percentile, 98 percentile, 97 percentile, and 90 percentile. What are the marks that they corresponded to? That is 99.0000. What were the marks corresponding to this percentile for each of the slots? So what do we have here? 220, 204, 185, 197, 217, and 175. So also you can take a screenshot of this so that you get a better idea for your analysis. So also 98 percentile, so also 97 percentile, and 90 percentile. So what do we see from here? We can see that the 26th evening paper, that was the last slot, was the toughest of all, and 24th morning was the easiest of all, 220. That is what it is. The next easy one was 26th morning, 217. The next easy one was 204, 24th evening. The one after that was 25th evening, and slightly tougher was 25th morning, and the toughest of all was 26th evening. We do not have data, but we have sufficient information also to conclude that in each of these papers, there is a wide variation in terms of degree of difficulty in each of the sections. If in one section, in one paper, chemistry was easy, in another paper, chemistry was slightly tougher. So, two conclusions we can make. One is the degree of difficulty of all these papers in each of these slots is not the same. Some slots are difficult, some slots are easy, and some are somewhere in between. Second, within each of these slots also, there is a variation in terms of the sections. So physics section might have been easier in one slot, maybe tougher in some other slot. So these are broadly the conclusions that we have. Now, it is easy to present these numbers. Now, what is important is what are the lessons that we draw from these numbers. From February to March, if you see, February ended toward the end of the month, the slots ended, and March slots are starting from 16th. So we do not have too much time, say, to add to a lot of resources in terms of learning. So in 2 to 3 weeks, you're not going to make too much of difference in terms of what you can study. But definitely where you can improve is your approach to the paper in terms of your strategy and in terms of your toughness, mental toughness. So this is what you have to bother about in your February slot. So what is the lesson that you can learn from these numbers? So first thing is that papers could be tough, papers could be easy. So you cannot get fixated about the number of questions that you will attempt in any section, because there are certain students who have this feeling that they have to answer 65 questions come what may. Like there was a student who appeared, as luck would have it, appeared on 26th evening slot. We all know it's a tough paper. He normally attempts something like around 65 to 70 questions. Now, on that particular day, because the paper was tough, he could answer 45 questions correctly. Then what did he do? Because he had to satisfy himself and he was used to answering this 65 to 70 questions, he went ahead and did some guesswork, I don't know what. He landed up with 20 negative marks. If he had just satisfied himself with those 45 questions, he would have got a 99 percentile. But because he did this and accumulated this 20 negative, he landed up with 98 percentile. So the lesson number one is that depending upon the paper, the number of questions that you're going to answer will vary. So what are you supposed to do? You have confidence in your preparation. If you find the paper is tough, don't panic. If it is tough for you, it is tough for everybody. Nobody is going to look at your raw score. We are only bothered about your percentile score. So your objective should be to maximize your percentile score. So what is it that you should be doing? You answer the best based on your potential. Whatever you can answer, you should answer. You should not come out of the examination hall with the feeling that there were these 5, 10, 15 questions which were easy, but you did not answer because you panicked. So the panic reaction should not be there. You should be absolutely professional in terms of answering these questions. Don't get emotional, be professional. Say, for example, you start with chemistry, and chemistry, as luck would have it, you find it a little tough. So what you're supposed to do, on the basis of what you know, out of those questions that are given, try to maximize your performance. Whatever maximum number of questions that you can answer right, answer it, period. Don't do anything else. Second thing that you should do is, don't carry the hangover from one section to another section, because the second learning that we have is that within the paper there could be a easy section and can be a tough section. So chemistry is tough doesn't mean that physics will be tough or maths will be tough. Maybe that physics will be easy. So in which case, when you transition from a tough section to an easy section, do not carry the hangover and expect the second section also to be tough and spoil that also. Don't do it. Take the second section as if it's a new section and answer to the best of your ability. That is what you should be doing. So two things: don't get fixated about the number of questions that you can answer. The number of questions will depend upon the degree of difficulty of the question paper. If it's an easy paper, maybe you can answer say 65 to 70 or perhaps more number of questions. If it's a tough paper, you may not be able to answer so many questions. Maybe the number of questions that you can answer correctly will get reduced, but don't panic because of that. So just have confidence in your preparation. All right, that is one. Second, from section to section also, do not bother too much. If one section is tough, take the second section afresh. Do not panic in the second section because first section you did not do well. So take the section, each section separately. All right. Third, whatever test taking strategy that you have developed in your mock test, in your grant test, whatever you have taken in your institution, just stick to the same strategy. Don't panic on that particular day and change your strategy, change the time allocation, etc., etc. Don't do any such things. Just we expect professional test taking on that particular day. Just remember this: if the paper is tough for you, paper is tough for everybody. Paper is easy for you, paper is easy for everybody. In which case, when it is an easy paper, you need to obviously answer more questions. So what all you have to do is, your objective would be to maximize your percentile scores. Your raw scores could be anything. All right. So that is all that we can learn from these things. Don't bother too much about the numbers per se. The numbers have to teach us something, and what they teach us is that you have to bother about the particular slot, the degree of difficulty of that particular slot, and perform accordingly. That's all you have to do. There will always be those easy questions in every paper, every section. What all you have to do is just answer those easy questions, and the other questions which you can answer based on your potential, answer those questions, maximize your percentile score, and come out of the examination hall. As far as March is concerned, your limited objective would be this. April and May, you still have time to work on, improve on your weak areas, study on those, add to those things where you've not done well, those topics in maths, physics, or chemistry where you need to study a little more, maybe do a little more practice. You've got 1 month more for April and 2 months for May. You got time to work on this. But in March, what all you got to do is improve your test taking ability. That is all that you have to do in March. All the best. Okay.